The 2019 Formula One season has officially begun. The first race finished. Valtteri Bottas taking first place with a huge margin ahead of his teammate, Lewis Hamilton. There's a bit to talk about this race, so here's Lindsey and my post-race analysis for the 2019 Australian Grand Prix. Mercedes. No surprise there, eh, Lindsey? None at all. Mercedes finished 1-2 in Melbourne with Bottas taking grand prize. Pretty cool seeing Bottas win. After a winless 2018 season, you could see the frustration from Bottas at the end of 2018. Oh, what a way to open up the season. What a way. I love watching Finnish people. Kimi Räikkönen, Valtteri Bottas, Mika Häkkinen. I like watching them in post-race coverage on some of the best days of their lives. Yeah, for sure, it's a good day. Really cool to see the extra point for fastest lap come into play and be seriously considered by the drivers, to be something to fight for. That was cool. To hear Bottas come over the radio and say, I really want 26 points. That was cool. Lewis Hamilton, on the other hand, he finished, 25 seconds or so behind Bottas. Classic Hamilton, though, coming over the radio saying, oh, I got a problem. Oh, I don't know if these tires are going to last all race. Oh, I don't know if these tires are going to make it to the end of the race. And Lindsey's like, those are moments where I have to go, Lindsey, this isn't the first time we've heard Hamilton go, oh, I'm having problems with the car, and win the race or still finish ahead of the Scuderia. Third place, Max Verstappen with the Honda Power Unit. Really, really cool. Really cool. Coming out, totally solid race. Made short work of Vettel. I don't even know if you'd call it a battle. It's more the track battling than Vettel and Verstappen. Because you have Verstappen coming up on the main straight, and then the track just tightens up. The fact that he was able to get around at, what corner is that? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? I think turn 4. Not 4. Turn 3. Where he overtook him? No. So, great overtake. Really good to see the Honda Power Unit push and perform well. And since we're talking about Red Bull, there's a whole lot to be said about Pierre Gasly. Shall we say a ghastly turn of events? Found it. She wrote that joke. He's out in Q1. No one expects a Red Bull to be out in Q1, so that's already not good. And then he spent the rest of the race chasing a Toro Rosso. Got in front of the Toro Rosso, overtaken by the Toro Rosso. Pierre Gasly, in what should be the third fastest car, didn't make up a single position in the entire race. Oh, but he started 17th and finished 11th. All of his gained positions was because of pit strategies and teams coming out behind. In his debut for Red Bull, didn't overtake a single person and nothing happened. Fire him. Give Ricciardo his seat back. We'll get to Ricciardo. Scuderia finishing 4th, 5th. Not ideal. Not expected. Not totally out of the blue like some people are making it up to be. Lindsey actually thought that Ferrari's testing would convert to qualifying and would convert to the race. Lindsey actually thought that Formula One was going to surprise us and not have Mercedes dominate. Come on. The rule changes weren't that big. Bigger front wing, bigger rear wing, barge boards moved around. And then she thinks that that's going to make a whole difference? No. They have a lot of work to do, don't they, Lindsey? Let's talk about the start. Off the line, Vettel's ahead. Leclerc comes around and tries to overtake Vettel on the outside, and he goes full onto the curbs, a little bit on the grass. His avoidance of hitting Vettel, absolutely huge. The way he's coming around the turn, then gives the room, then pulls off, and manages to get behind Vettel without hitting his teammate, that shows how good Leclerc is. He is seriously good. There's another camera angle from Verstappen's car, I believe, where you can see Leclerc's front right wing edge touch Sebastian's rear left wheel. So, not totally clean getting back on the track, Lindsey. Light touch, no damage. You can't get closer than that. Unbelievable. A rather unremarkable race for Ferrari. Clearly they've got an uphill battle to go. Whatever, they went for the points finish as a team. There are 20 more races. We'll see how it pans out. Kevin Magnussen finished 6th, so let's talk about Haas. Showed good pace, whatever. Definitely going to be contending for best of the rest this year. It's them and Renault, and maybe Alfa Romeo? Maybe? We'll see. Kevin Magnussen had a pretty clean race. Came to blows with Nico Hülkenberg, though. They're coming around turn 4. Turn 3, Hülkenberg on the outside, Magnussen on the inside. Magnussen defended his position just fine. held his line. It was Hulkenberg who had to get up there and be in a definite overtaking place. He wasn't. So Hulkenberg gets pushed off the track, and the audio, what did he say? Something like, bye-bye. But yeah, just great to see Hulkenberg and Magnussen going at it again. Hilarious. But yeah, good race for Magnussen. Now we get to Roman Grosjean. Pit disaster. They were having trouble getting the front left wheel nut on, so they tried even harder, and it lasted a while, then it came undone. So another pit disaster for Haas in Australia. Renault. Hulkenberg, decent race, whatever. Another midfield battle. Good stuff. Ricciardo. Oh, man. This is huge. I mean, he's one of my favorite drivers on the grid. Think about this. Ricciardo has made the worst career move he could have possibly made. Turning 30, he did a leap of faith. He went from Red Bull, a championship contending team, and went down to Renault, the company that was supplying the engine that caused him all the trouble in 2018. After being presented some hopeful dreams and numbers, I see this as a real career-limiting move. I would have liked to see Ricciardo at Ferrari. I know Lindsey would have. So he has to spend the winter season accepting that he's not going to be fighting for podiums, that if there is a podium, it's once in a blue moon. He's not going to be fighting for the championship. So why? But he did it, and he knows way more than anyone like me. But in his first race, before he even crosses the start-finish straight, he takes his own front wing off. 2019 is certainly going to be a make-or-break season, and it has not started well. After Hulkenberg finished, Kimi Räikkönen. Cool. Räikkönen finishes 8th in the points. Another midfield battle, but Alfa Romeo showing decent pace. An interesting thing from Räikkönen's race was he had a bit of a longer pit stop because he took off one of his visor tear-offs and released it, and it went into the rear left brake duct. They had to fix that. Antonio Giovinazzi, as far as he's concerned, this was his debut race. They went for a long strategy, tried to keep the tires out longer than, maybe they needed to be out. It led to a really cool midfield battle. Oh, there was a cool train running around for a while, and you got Pierre Gasly doing absolutely nothing. Lando Norris, I believe, did overtake Giovinazzi. It made that part of the race interesting. Lance Stroll, don't care. He got 9th, whatever. Daniel Kvyat. On his return to Formula One, he keeps a Red Bull out of the points and overtook a Red Bull. Sweet. I think that's super cool. Good stuff. His overtake move on the Red Bull was good, very anti-torpedo. He did go deep on that one overtake, but got himself back on the track, made it work, still finished in the points. What more do you want? Lando Norris started P8, finished P12, out of the points. Whatever. It's McLaren, so get used to finishing out of the points, I guess. Good show by Lando Norris, a few on-track battles. Can't wait to see what's to come. Carlos Sainz with the engine failure on lap 11. Looks like Renault power units are still blowing up. But it didn't happen to Ricciardo, so it doesn't really count. Sergio Perez finished out of the points, so you don't get a lot from me. Alexander Albon, he's an interesting one. Watching him in interviews, he's very quiet, very reserved, and doesn't really come across as very sure of his ability. But on track, whoa, he's looking pretty good. He'll be a fun one to watch. Finished outside the points, so not much to say there, but a good debut. We've already talked about Antonio Giovinazzi. So we come to Robert Kubica and George Russell, who showed up, did some laps, finished the race. I mean, Williams is just an absolute joke. I don't know. I will say, in my previous video, I did make a suggestion to Formula One that they try and do something to explain the undercut-overcut, like pit strategies. There was a new graphic showing the estimated difference between the two cars after one would pit and rejoin the race. Fantastic. Great. Let's talk about the track, Albert Park. I'm going to throw something out there. There are a lot of tracks on the Formula One calendar where the drivers say overtaking is difficult. Why are these on the calendar then? Can we not build new circuits? Formula One has this tie to tradition that has a very difficult time getting over. If all the drivers say it's difficult to overtake on the circuit, why are we there? The better racing is on tracks where you can overtake. I mean, yeah, the challenge of Albert Park is great and the onboards are great. And okay, the battles were pretty good this season. Might I make a suggestion though? A lot of overtake attempts were made into turn 3, but cut off because of the grass right there. Extend that a little bit. Let's get some outside overtakes. There were tons of attempts on it. An interesting first race with a lot of A lot of stuff going on, a lot of interesting new strategies being played out, and a pretty decent fight in the midfield. And what looks to be an interesting fight for second and third. I think we know where first is going, unless something huge changes between Australia and Bahrain. We'll see, Lindsey. Thanks for tuning in. Pound it. Bye-bye. Now I'm going to see if I'm actually correct on the turns. 1, 2, 3. I've been calling it turn 4 this whole time. I added a turn that's not there. So for everything I've said before where it's turn 4, it needs to be turn 3.